My name is Elizabeth Willett, Senior Herbalist with the Natural Fertility Company, and today I'm going to talk about feeling stuck on your fertility journey and moving forward. I certainly hope that none of you are on this journey and at the feeling stuck point, but I know that that feeling can come and go. You can feel stuck at random times, and then something shifts and you can feel like, good things are happening. Or maybe you're just at a point where you truly are not sure what to do next or how to keep going. So I want to pose a few questions to you. What do you do when you're feeling like you've plateaued on your fertility journey? Have you been thinking about this? What do you do when you've yet to achieve your dreams of becoming pregnant? I bet you expect me to say, have patience and stick with your program. I certainly do want to say those things, but I know that that's not going to sit well because you've heard those and you've tried to be patient. After all, haven't you been being patient this whole time, right? So I prompt you to ask yourself these questions and answer them honestly and with detail, because I think that hearing, reading, thinking about your answers is really going to help you move forward. So first, do you believe you deserve success? Answer that question for yourself. Have you fully addressed the issue you're being faced with, or issues? Some people have more than one fertility health issue. Are you fully addressing the issue or issues? Have you fully addressed the issues that led you to thinking about feeling stuck, but then trying the next step, which could be a medical fertility procedure, it could be a medication, it could be a natural fertility program? Are you fully addressing this issue? Does your doctor have any theories or ideas about why you're having to deal with the issue in the first place? Do you understand completely what you're dealing with from a medical perspective and or a natural perspective? Do you understand the complexity of all of what you're dealing with, your issues? How does it feel to think about going through a medically assisted fertility procedure? If you've been on a journey, your fertility journey, and you've been doing all these things to support your fertility naturally, and you're feeling like you're in this stuck spot, what's the next step? Have you thought about the implications of considering or going through a medical fertility procedure or using a medication of any form? Is that even on your radar, or could it be an option? If it feels right, what does that feel like? I recently read a statistic that 33% of American adults report that they have or know someone who's used some sort of fertility treatment. I feel like that percentage is rather high. And it is a commonality between couples, women and men, that we work with. Many times women and men do consider or have tried a medical fertility treatment prior to coming to us, or are considering it but aren't quite sure. You probably have been in that place. If that doesn't feel right for you, if medically assisted fertility treatments don't feel right to you, have you learned absolutely everything you can about your fertility health issue and all of the options out there for you for addressing it naturally? Are you thinking about your other options? I know that this is a super hard one, but what would be your plan B or C or D or E, or the list could go on? What could be a next step? Maybe listing all of those out will help you understand or decide or sit within your heart what that feels like, or if those options are even really your options. And I'm kind of beating around the bush here, but I'm going to go for it, like egg donor or sperm donor or adoption or having a surrogate, or even freezing your eggs for later on down the road because you're not certain you're quite to the point where you want to be a mother yet. Or a medical fertility procedure. That could be your quote-unquote plan, your next plan. Are you thinking about all of the options? And are you weighing the pros and cons and sitting with how that feels, how those options feel? And not all of them are going to be something that you're willing to do. I've worked with many women who just simply can't fathom the idea of having an egg donor, and I completely get that. No judgment. So, but you still should take some time to sit with and think about all of your options. Have you committed yourself to following your program, whether it's medical and natural or just medical? Are you in? Are you all in and completely committed in following it consistently? And then the last thing I have on my list in terms of questions to ask yourself is, where do I still need help? What is still really hard for me to do on my own if you're doing it on your own? Or if you're working with practitioners, where do you still need help? Do you need to seek another practitioner to work with, a new one who will support you? I don't know. Like, that's going to look different for everyone anyway, but where do I still need help? So after sitting with these questions and your answers and really thinking about all that you've put down on paper or come up with for answers to these questions, I think it's really, really, really important, while you try to decide what your next step is, to continue seeking more knowledge. Continue trying to learn about the issues that you're dealing with. Go back to the trusted sites or practitioners or people you follow and see what they've published that's new. Try to find new research. It's all out there. There is so much information on our fingertips, and I get that that can be overwhelming. So if it is for you, maybe don't go to that place. But try to learn as much as you can from the trusted sources of information that you found. Naturalfertilityinfo.com, that is one of those great resources. We're continually publishing new and updated research and information and stuff that we learn, and trying to condense and simplify all the information that we offer, constantly publishing new information. So go to all of those people and keep learning about what you're dealing with. Continue to eat your fertility diet. Switch it up a little bit if you need to and you're feeling like you're in a rut. Try fertility smoothies again. Even if you've done some sort of smoothie challenge in the past, do it again. Talk to your doctor about every single thing he shared with you and make sure that you understand it completely. If you have any questions, ask those questions, because there isn't a question that shouldn't go asked when it comes to your health and your fertility and you yourself on this journey. Learn the benefits of complementary and alternative therapies that you might have kind of poo-pooed or put to the back burner in the past. Have you learned about fertility-specific yoga? Were you considering massage and just didn't do it? Have you tried massage? What about acupuncture or moxibustion or chiropractic care? Have you thought about all those things in the past but weren't quite sure, or didn't really understand how they work, or had a bad experience maybe, but would maybe be willing to go back and try something again? And I bring this up because, for example, there's evidence that acupuncture can increase success of IVF. There's evidence that eating really good healthy fats in your diet, like avocado, can increase success of IVF. I mean, it seems sort of silly that these things could be big factors in success, but there is a lot of information out there proving that there are some alternative therapies and ways of eating that benefit your fertility that I don't want you to pass over, essentially. That's what I'm trying to get at. Don't stop moving. Make sure you're exercising, some sort of moderate intensity level exercise at least 5 times a week. It's very helpful for your emotional health, but also your physical health and circulation, and keeping that going to your reproductive organs. Seek more support. If you're going this journey alone, you shouldn't be. You don't have to be. If you have a doctor that you don't feel comfortable with or that you feel is not on your side, find a new doctor. Hopefully you can. If you're working with a medical doctor and he or she isn't familiar with natural therapies and you want to learn more about them, find someone who can teach you. For example, our fertility consultation program, or a nutritionist, or some sort of diet and lifestyle counselor. There are fertility counselors out there. If you're dealing with emotional health things that you can't get through on your own and that are bogging you down, seek emotional health support. Your church groups, if you're into that, if you have a parish that you belong to. There are support groups out there for women battling any sort of fertility health issue, PCOS, endometriosis. There are just general fertility support groups, all sorts of ways to get emotional health support. So make sure that you seek that out. And then I think even more important than a lot of what I've said, even though these are all important points, is if you tend to be on the other end of the spectrum and quote unquote slightly obsessed, it might be now time to step back and cut yourself some slack and take a little break and evaluate whether the obsession could be what's holding you back from another little success on your journey, or could be making you feel stuck or at that plateau point. Again, you don't have to go on this fertility journey alone. There are many resources out there to help you figure out what your next step might be. Try to understand each of these areas that I've touched on just a little bit better. Be honest with yourself. Have your partner sit with you and answer these questions too. Be honest with each other and where you're at on your journey. And consider, at least at minimum, consistently following a natural fertility program for a minimum of 90 days, or while you decide what your next step needs to be or could be. I certainly really enjoy connecting with you here, so connect with those of us in this, I don't want to call it an industry, those of us out here to support you in some way. That's what we're here for. We're here to connect with you and offer support. And I look forward to continuing to work with you, but I know there are many others. It takes a village, as they say, and to support couples on this journey to becoming parents. And so find someone you trust to offer help if you really need it. Again, you don't have to go it alone. I hope this was helpful. I know that there are going to be a number of different ways that this pans out, how feeling stuck feels and looks, and everybody's going to experience it a little bit differently. But I wanted to have this talk just so that this information goes out there, and so that you know that if you are stuck, there are steps to take to hopefully propel you to that next place, or to open your eyes to what can be done next. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.